Hello, I'm Joel Pollak from Breitbart News, and I'm here to answer the question of whether Israel's response to the Palestinian terrorist group Hamas in Gaza is legal under international law. Some on the far left, like Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, have accused Israel of committing a war crime and collective punishment against Palestinians by cutting off electricity and fuel that Israel had previously supplied to the Gaza Strip, and also by asking hundreds of thousands of Palestinians to evacuate south before an anticipated ground invasion by Israel in northern Gaza. In fact, Israel's actions are entirely consistent with international law and a desire to reduce civilian casualties. There are three principles that apply. The first is distinction. You're not allowed to target civilians. Hamas obviously targets civilians, but Israel is not attacking civilians. Israel is in fact trying to move civilians out of the way. The challenge is that Hamas places rockets next to schools, it stores weapons in mosques, it hides its leaders underneath hospitals, it digs tunnels under residential buildings. All of that makes it more difficult for Israel to target Hamas terrorists, and Hamas knows that if Israel does fight back, there's a chance it will hurt Palestinian civilians inadvertently, and then the international community will be outraged and will put pressure on Israel to stop defending itself. That's why Hamas does it. But it is Hamas, not Israel, that is violating international law. Second, the question of military necessity. It is absolutely necessary that Israel go after Hamas and remove them as a military threat.
ולא ניתן לעולם, או למישהו, להשכיח את הזוועות האלה שלא נעשו לעם היהודי בעשרות השנים האחרונות. אנחנו הולמים באויבינו בעוצמה חסרת תקדים. אני מדגיש, זאת רק ההתחלה. אויבינו רק התחילו לשלם את המחיר.
Now, laying siege to a territory would not be lawful if it were done to starve the civilian population. But Israel has said specifically that its goal is to pressure Hamas to release the more than 100 hostages from Israel and other countries that it took when it launched its terror attack on Israel October 7th. Finally, third, proportionality. Proportionality is not a question of adding up the dead on either side. It's a question of whether the number of civilian casualties you incur is proportional to the legitimate military objective. In previous wars, Israel simply tried to stop Hamas from firing further rockets. In this war, Israel has decided, quite understandably, that it must remove Hamas as a military threat from the Gaza Strip. Therefore, there are going to be a larger number of Palestinian civilian casualties because a ground war is necessary and because Hamas hides among civilians. Israel also has an obligation under international law to stop genocide, and Hamas has made clear that its intention is genocidal. So Israel's actions are entirely legal under international law. That doesn't mean anything it does is legal, but it does mean that what it has done so far and what it says it intends to do while minimizing Palestinian casualties is certainly legal and legitimate.